Hello, friends. I'm Bhargav Vivekanandan, and I'd like to share my experience of preparing and cracking the CISSP in 2 months. It's been an interesting journey, and it was one of the challenges that I took upon myself earlier this year, and I'm so proud of achieving it in time. So I want to share my experience. And a lot of the guidance online uh, you know, does help, right? All of them have very good ideas in approaching this tough test. It's definitely one of the toughest, if not the toughest, that I've encountered. I've taken quite a few academic challenges. Uh, so let me share my experience. Of course, there is no real secret sauce other than ensuring you prepare and have depth of knowledge in all security domains, and that is there is no two ways about that. However, I just wanted to highlight a few things that I found are not really are underrated. Uh, 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 you know, with most in most instructions provided online. So what I wanted to highlight was prior to venturing into this test, you have to know that it is a comprehensive exam that covers security domains, including the technology and technical aspects of security, as well as uh, the business policy regulations uh, and the other aspect of security that is more about regulations and compliance, and that's what makes it a tough one because it covers everything right under the umbrella of security. So the one thing that I didn't hear from a lot of people online was they assume that you already have all around IT knowledge and experience, which is very important. The foundational knowledge that you have is important to build on and learn the security domains. When I talk about foundational IT knowledge, you should have knowledge of software development, programming to a certain extent. You should understand the uh, MVC model, for example, basic programming constructs and concepts, object-oriented programming, computer networks, um, to a certain extent, engineering and architecture concepts, SDLC concepts, project management concepts, uh, as well as you know, foundational knowledge on IT processes, service management, and other processes as well. So this foundational knowledge is important. So there are various sources, to patch up on areas that you may not be familiar with, but it is vital. That's often overlooked. And I had invested a lot of time, so almost 15 years into, or over 15 years of ID experience, and I've invested heavily on all areas, which prepared me for this. So I should say that first. And on top of that, I did not take any special external trainings or boot camps or classroom trainings, uh, which is something I'm proud of. But I did have the foundational knowledge, not in uh, uh, the foundational knowledge that I talked about in IT and all domains, right? But what prepared me for the exam, it was a lot of hard work, and I just went full-fledged into uh, the official study guide, basically. And I started with that, and just this one. And I completed it, one stretch fully. And of course highlighted, those techniques are also valuable, I thought. So highlighted the points that I wanted to mark as headers so that I can revise them. And then I started taking the practice tests, the official practice tests. They're also available online. So if you buy the book, you also have access to the online tests. Although they're not adaptive, they simulate the real CISSP exam. That was really useful. So that way I found out where I'm deficient at, and I just went back to the books and revised the concepts that I struggled with. And it was surprisingly very difficult. So I should confess that I was not really hitting a high score on the practice tests also, but that really scared me. And these tests are useful in getting used to the real experience and bringing you down to the ground reality of what you're facing. And every time I was found deficient in any domain, I went back to the book and revised it. And when I had problems, even after the second or third revision of these chapters, I resorted to this one. This is the official CBK, right? This is a bigger book, and it is essentially a more elaborate version of the official study guide. So for concepts where I had issues, deficiencies, I went to the CBK and covered those topics there. And in the process, I've taken over 15 or 20 or 15 assessments, possibly. Yeah, so full-length assessment. So that's the level of preparation I had to do. I was so desperate to pass this within 2 months, as I was at the end of the rope, as I just completed a master's program and then I jumped into this. So it was hectic. But so this is what I did, and it did eventually work. I started passing consistently after about 2 months of preparation. I was just not passing with great scores, but passing. And I also studied this one for a quick overview. The 11th ever CISSP was also useful. So I forgot to mention, thanks to my company's tie-up with Pluralsight and LinkedIn Learning, I also had full access to Mike Chappell's LinkedIn Learning course, which gives you a high-level overview. You still need to go through the books and CBKs. Definitely. And Pluralsight also has a good course. It gives you a different perspective and fills in some of the areas where LinkedIn or the other books and other sources don't fit in. But the mantra was that I had to keep repeating this. Just switching material and keep on doing this again and again and again and again. And that is what eventually helped me. I think I passed within the 100 questions. So I'm so happy that. And that helped me transition to the IT security career as well, which I was working towards. I was doing part-time back to a full-time role. So that's my journey. Hope it helps, and wish you all the best.